Hello YouTube, it's Matthew here once again with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about margins with your e-commerce Shopify dropshipping business. It's currently around 1:30 a.m. Eastern time, so I need to work on going to sleep earlier. But you know, the grind is for real with this job or whatnot. But yeah, so margins, gross profit margins. So, you know, you hear all these gurus talk about, dang, I made this much in sales, but their margins are probably really, really extremely low. And what they actually pocketed is not what you think. Um, and so let's dive right in. So margins. So there's gross margins and then your net profit margins. Your gross margins are just basically your revenue minus your cost of goods sold. And so for most dropshipping stores, your gross margins are really good because you buy a product for $5 and you sell it for $20. So your margins are 75%. However, most of our margins are taken away by ad spend, Facebook ads. And so that's where you really start to really cut down on your margins. And that basically equals your net profit margins. So your net profit margins are your sales minus cost of goods sold minus Facebook ads or ad spent minus your credit card fees, PayPal fees, app fees, your payroll for your VAs, your apps fees, and so all those fees. And so I was just looking online. There's a bunch of articles stating that a lot of e-commerce stores are not even that profitable. They're just like your brick and mortar stores, um, they say, and they say a good, successful, um, actually net profit margin for a big company is around 10%, which is, you know, incredible. And they said that's good. And, you know, there's still so many businesses where their margins are extremely low or haven't even made a profit. Um, and so it's just incredible. But yeah, and so I just want to let you all know, like, people may say, oh, I have this, I have that, but their margins are pretty low. They never state their margins, I mean how much net they're really making. But if you're making a lot of money, let's say you're making 10 million a year, I mean your margins are 10%, that's 1 million a year, so you're a millionaire. So that's still pretty good. Now with me, I started with Instagram influencers, and my margins were incredible when I first started doing well in it. And that was 2 months ago in August. I was getting around 80% net profit margins with my posts, sponsored posts. But then over time it went down and went down. And then when I went to Facebook ads, when I first started, I was still doing well for my Facebook ads. I was getting around 40%, and I was spending good money. So you can imagine, you know, how much I was pocketing. That was pretty good. And then over time it went down and down, and I would say around after 3 weeks, right now I'm around 20-25% net profit margins. And so I understand that because that's the business. And so even that amount, 20%, is actually extremely well. Just learning about different things and the stats and the averages for this type of business. Um, but yeah, just make sure when you're running your Facebook ads to also look at your price per purchase. That's the number one metric I look for when I know ad set is going down. So price per purchase is basically, let's say you buy the item for $5 and you sell it for $20, but your ad spent for that purchase is $15. So $15 ad spent plus $5 um, cost of goods sold. That's $20. So that's your break even point. So $15 is your break even point. I would actually go lower than $15 just to take into account your different fees and whatnot. But yeah, I hope this video helped you all just understand more about margins and uh, what the reality of it, of this business, that yeah, it's, if you put a lot of money into ad spend, your sales will increase a lot, but your margins, your net profit margins might be not as good as you think, but you can still make a lot of good money. So, let's say I make $1 million worth of sales and my margins are 20%, I make 200K profit, which is still to me pretty good for a young person. I won't go out and buy a Lambo or anything, but I can market that, and say, hey, I generated a store that made $1 million in sales, and not a lot of people can say that. And so there is that skill that you acquired that most people can't acquire. And so that's something you can sell. And that's why you have these people that are doing that, and they're making more money from their courses and coaching, which to me is fine. It makes sense, because to me, if you have the knowledge to, or the skill to generate a store online to make over $1 million in sales, like, sell your learnings for real. I'm all about that. But I mean, your margins are probably like 10%. But yeah, I hope this all helped you all. Make sure you subscribe. All right, I'm out.